All right, here it is. The video I said was gonna do, and I got a cold. With the changing weather in the east, like it went from really being warm, then it being cold, then it being warm again, then it started raining. I got caught in rain twice. Even though it was light rain, I still got caught in it. I didn't realize it was gonna rain, and I got caught in it twice. So I got a cold. I'm alright. Took some medicine. I got no fevers. Well, I did catch a fever briefly, but then I took some medicine and I have no fever now. Just nasty sore throat and nasally stuff that I'm taking for right now. I'm fine. But I wanted to let you know because I am going to cough because my throat is still messed up even though the cold is generally gone. Let's make this very clear. I don't review reality of wrestling. The last time I reviewed reality of wrestling, I believe it was episode 164. And they're at episode 435 at this point. So it's been nearly 10 years. Other than maybe checking maybe one episode, and that was only part of one. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think 3 years ago I checked part of one episode. But I have not watched them. I have not watched the product. I have not seen Booker T's business. So I don't know anyone there other than the ones I saw during the time of episode 164. So if there are people that you do know about, I understand you're going to know more about them than me. But I decided, like I said, since what's been going on with TKO, WWE, AEW, and what's going on with TNA, which we now know about Ariel, if you know Simmer, I believe his name is Simmer, as one of the, I forgot what this guy's name is, Slimmer, I believe, Ariel Slimmer, or what was it, Zimmer, I think that's his name, Ariel Zimmer. He did the most stupidest thing, and I even said it when those new hires came in March. I said, you got one guy who is a producer in ROH, and then you got three actually. They had an extra person who is 100% a network boss who knows nothing about pro wrestling. Zero. Nothing. And what happened? With one of you, you know who you are. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I was sick at the time. Like I said, I haven't been feeling well. I left you a message saying I checked it, which I did. That was yesterday. And found out that I think it's Skimmer, Ariel. He was stupid enough to say, okay, Joe Henry has a chance to work on the main roster with The Miz. And if it's not going to be The Miz on the main roster, it would be in TNA. He said, hell no, we can't do that. What the blue fuck? Look, I don't want to see the champion or nearly becoming champion Joe Henry jobbing out to a minor wrestler like The Miz. Doesn't matter if you like him or not. And understand, I don't hate The Miz, but at this point, Miz's star went from here to here. He's now a mid-card wrestler, even though he has become a two-time Grand Slam champion. Two-time Grand Slam champion. Even though he does not have the star power that he used to do, and he's working with Carmelo Hayes, he is still a fucking two-time Grand Slam champion that went up against John Cena and even worked with the fucking Rock at a WrestleMania. Even if it wasn't in the same match with him, he worked on the same damn card as him. And he had a chance possibly to work with the damn Miz either on the main roster Raw, or even if it was on TNA Impact, it would have been the fucking Miz on Impact. Okay? It would have been Miz. And even though I don't want to see Joe Henry go to a mid-carder, he is still one of the most well-known wrestlers they have in that damn company. And Ariel, again, a hire that I warned you fucking guys about, blew that. Along with Gail Kim, that we still don't even know why she was released. Ariel, I understand. But I warned all of you. If nobody remembers, I'm going to keep reminding you that when it comes to Anthem, do not underestimate how stupid they're going to be. Because the interim president, which was not an interim president when he first came in, they never announced it as interim president, Not until he left. And now you bring in 3 new people. Well, 4, counting the guy from ROH as a producer. They added 3 more people, I believe. Was it 3? Or was it 4? I think it was 3. I'm sorry. It's 3 people. One of them was from ROH. The other 2 were network executives who worked in regular sports. They don't understand wrestling. This is what you get. Now, moving away from that. And I had to bring that in due to the fact of AJ Francis showing up on that show. But I will tell you this. When I saw the beginning, because I'm feeling a bit better. Let me run this through you. I was feeling a bit better after getting sick and having a bit of a temperature. Nothing serious. It wasn't like 102 or something. It was fine. It was just 100 something. Took my medicine, slept, achy all over. And you know how when you get sick, you get a cold, you can come up with aches and pains, which I still got. But still, I'm well enough, I'm saying, like, you know, I'm feeling better. I should do reality wrestling episode, 435, because that's what I wanted to do. So I flipped on reality wrestling and I thought, wait a minute, before I start doing 435, maybe I should check to see if they have a new episode, because from when I check the schedule, from what they keep releasing, it happens on a Sunday. Saturday or Sunday. I think it's a Sunday. So I checked, and 2 days ago, they had the Last Stand Rumble, which sounds like a Royal Rumble style thing for our reality wrestling. So I did. And what do we get? We get a guy who has Umaga's face tattooed on his ass, and he's called Godzilla Fatu, which made me think, oh, I remember. Could that be one? I know, if I remember correctly, Umaga had 2 sons. I don't remember exactly. I think he had 3 or 4 children. You can tell me below. I do not remember how many kids Umaga had, because he did have kids. If I remember, he had 2 or 3, was it 3 kids? I believe he had 2 sons and 1 daughter. I could be wrong, because I don't remember. It's been so many years since Umaga passed away, which was so bad. But seeing Umaga tattooed on this guy's chest, that had to be one of his sons. And he looks just like him. He looks like Umaga, so it has to be one of his kids. So he's the one that opens on the Last Man Rumble. And I'm going like, okay. So Umaga's son has grown up enough that now he can actually wrestle. And he's in reality wrestling, which makes some good sense. Because Jacob Fatu, even though he didn't stay there long in reality wrestling, because he worked in Major League Wrestling more than anything else, he was in reality wrestling at one point, I remember. When I was doing the reviews, he was at 160, from 160 to maybe 150 to 160. Because I don't remember how many episodes I did of reality wrestling. I think I saw him maybe once on reality wrestling. But by that time, he had left. And he was working in Major League Wrestling, I believe. But at one point, I believe he had been there. But it's been a long time for me. I just don't remember. But I do believe I might have seen him once, unless I'm thinking about Major League Wrestling. And I did watch that a little after reality wrestling. No, I was watching around the same time. I was doing Major League and reality wrestling at the same time. But I'm sure I might have saw him at least once in reality. And the rest of the time after that, when I didn't watch either company, constantly, whenever I did flip it on, I saw him in Major League, flat out. The Executioner and him, that's what they worked. I remember that at least. I believe his name was the Executioner. So I remember seeing him in Major League. So seeing that Zilla Fatu is there makes perfect sense. I'm fine with that. In fact, it's a good thing, because sooner or later, he's going to NXT. But from what I can tell, he has a lot of work to do. Now, was his work in the ring bad? No. He actually looked pretty smooth. Now, it was at one point one guy who had came back after a long time, I don't remember his name, that he threw out the ring and might have twisted the ankle or broke the ankle of the guy. I hope not. I don't remember the guy, Vermont, I believe his name is. That was well after I stopped watching reality wrestling. But I believe the guy's name might have been Vermont. You guys can tell me below. I can understand. Look, I don't remember nothing. I didn't watch the product for 10 fucking years. 10. Generally speaking. 10 years. So if you know who this person is, fine. But I'm just trying to remember who was the guy he threw out in the ring. There was a big guy. Where they were saying he looked great. He looked like he's in great shape. No, he didn't. He didn't look like he was in great shape. He was wearing a t-shirt over a singlet. So he might have been a little bit of that. But when he got thrown out of the ring, when he charged at him and he basically hoofed him over, it looks like he might have twisted his ankle. Hopefully he didn't break it. He might have just twisted and he'll be all right. The next person I do recognize is Ryan Davidson. Now, when I watched him back in Reality Wrestling, he was a tag team specialist. I don't remember his partner now, but I always felt Ryan was something special. I always felt that he was special, that he had character. He worked pretty well in the ring. He was a good big guy. He worked well in the ring. He had charisma out the ass. And it seems that he was still there. In fact, at one point when they were talking about him, was talking about him supposedly retired, he left, but then he came back. So it's great to see that he's still working with Reality Wrestling. And I'm glad to see him because I always felt Ryan was something that could have worked in WWE. Now, mind you, would have Vince liked him at the time? Probably not. What about TNA? Impact Wrestling? Maybe he might have gotten over pretty well in Impact Wrestling from Reality Wrestling. But it would depend on if they would book him right. And that would also depend on Scott D'Amore. And Scott D'Amore had his favorites. But also Scott D'Amore was known that even though he had his favorites like Josh Alexander and a few others, he will give you a shot. But it counts on how long he would do that shot and how long that you would stay there if you weren't under contract. And that would be something I would think about Ryan Davidson. If he went from Reality Wrestling to Impact Wrestling before transition, would he have been signed? I don't know. I have no idea if he would have been signed by Impact Wrestling. Remember, it's not all about Scott. It's also about the executives in the back because, again, Ariel was a Anthem hire. He was a hire by Anthem. They threw him on the damn show, not as the one working in front, but working that company, and he just blew the opportunity that pissed off TKO WWE, which A6 that little possible angle between The Miz and Joe Henry. I said it, and I still mean it. Listen to what I say. We got maybe one, I think it's one more executive there, or is it two? Two executives who worked in Network, next to the guy who worked in ROH as a producer. I still believe they don't know what they're doing, or that one person doesn't know what they're doing. And if they hire more people that are executives, again, along with the new president, who's also an executive of TNA, the new one, they're not going to understand what they're doing. If they're not like Eric Bischoff, like I said, there's only one of a kind, and that was Eric Bischoff. You can say a lot about Eric, that he was a bitch, that he lied a lot, that he schemed a lot, he messed up the company. He understood business enough that I have to immerse myself in wrestling. And that's the reason why he was one of the most popular and the most remembered promoters there is. Even though WCW was owned by Turner, Eric learned the business and he learned to be a promoter, even if it was WCW, a satellite company like TNA is. And to a very strong extent, even though they won't say it, WWE is a satellite company of TKO Group Holdings. There you go. Now, the next person that I remember was Tempo. I remember Tempo. He just started out. I think he had been in the business like 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I don't remember how many years he was in the business when he first started in Reality Wrestling, but he wasn't he wasn't like a total amateur. He did know how to wrestle. He was pretty damn good. So seeing that he's still there and still a damn cut, the abs, boom, boom, and fully bearded out, boy knew what he was looking. He knew what he was doing. Now, there were a lot of faces I did not recognize. Some of them looked like they were brand new to Reality Wrestling, saying that they're there for the first time doing the last one. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing they had one back in 2019 and Ryan Davidson won that one. And many of them are just doing it now. Shows that this has a long tradition. This must have happened well after I left, easily. And seeing that maybe half of them have never gone into it, and if they did, it was their first, second, or third time they've been in it. So, I can't tell you if they did a great job or not because I don't know who they are. Then seeing AJ Francis. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing that AJ Francis was in this Last Stand Royal Rumble. Well, Last Stand Rumble. And then understanding as they were talking that he was working with another guy who was bald like him, who sweat more than he was, taking shoot, and you can see all the sweat coming off his head. He's a sweater like me. He sweats, so do I. But seeing that he was in an angle that AJ Francis, even though he's working TNA, he still has leeway to be able to work in reality wrestling and was working in an angle with Booker T. I'm like, okay, that's good for AJ Francis. You may not like AJ. I'm sure many people don't. But I've always stated this. It's not about how much they screw up. It counts on what they do when they screw up afterward. And after they've been removed from the company, like AJ Francis. Only problem I have is him doing Tennessee Whiskey. I hate he's using it so much to try and rub it into the people who are against him. And I've always stated this. I like AJ Francis. He's a good big man that can talk his ass off. He does have charisma. And he can wrestle pretty well. Not one of the best big men wrestlers, but they're not always remembered for their wrestling. They're remembered for all around what they can do. Can they hold a character? Can they talk? Do they have the charisma to piss off the fans or to pull them in? Can he tell a story in the ring even though he doesn't have the moveset like everybody else? And that is what I always see when it comes to a small guy or big guy. And when it comes to AJ, that's what I see from him. He has good work. But when it comes to his attitude sometimes, and that's not saying that he doesn't deserve to have an attitude. You need one as a wrestler. But when it comes to Tennessee Whiskey, I would have liked him to just put it on the shelf for about a year. Just at least a year. Do other moves and then break that sucker out on Impact Wrestling or anywhere else to surprise people that when you see everything else, he can do that move right. Because when you see what he did in WWE and how bad it looked to the point where it looks like he almost blew out his knees, they fucked with him for months. Vince didn't want to leave him alone. Michael Cole didn't want to leave him alone. Nobody wanted to leave him alone. They were fucking with him constantly, and then the fans started fucking with him. And I understand he wants a little bit of redemption, saying, you think I can't do my own move? I can. But the point is, you don't try to use that to get back at the fans. I understand you want to make sure the people that you're working with in the other promotion, they need to know that you got more, that you can do it right. But this isn't about making them look at you like, oh, we were stupid for not treating you right. No. This is about you showing that you can be more than what people think you are. And you can use that move, or you can show people how versatile you are and make it about not the move that they thought you botched, which he did. But it's about, I'm an all-rounder. That's what you really need to be. And that's what I'm hoping for AJ Francis. I want this man to understand Tennessee Whiskey should not be the defining moment for you. It's about that you got the fans that hate you the way they should. Or you got the fans to like you for what you did in the ring as a good guy as well. You got the charisma to win their asses over when it comes with KC Navarra. You have the ability to tell a story even if you don't use any heavy moves. That is what I'm hoping for you. That's me. And during that match, it wasn't that bad. And I will tell you, seeing that Zilla Fatu won that match. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the name is great. It's Godzilla Fatu. Being Polynesian, I can understand why they go there. Zilla, that makes sense, even if it's a Japanese word. But let's make it very clear. Do I think Zilla Fatu looks good? Yes, but this is only a one-time thing I've seen of him. And I have no idea if he's better on the mic, that he has charisma, that he can do more than just go in the ring. I would have to watch reality wrestling and see what's going on. And I was considering doing more reviews of this. So this is the first time I've seen it in 10 years, guys. It's 10 years. The last time I saw it was 3 or 4 years ago and only saw maybe a quarter of an episode. And I stopped because I got pissed off. But I'm telling you, Last Stand Royal, well, I'm going to say Royal Rumble so much. But the Last Stand Rumble was good. If you didn't see it, you could watch it. The camera work was pretty good. I want to say this, because what turned me off was production 10 years ago. Here, you got the graphics, which actually were good, because now they got a Titantron, and you got graphics to go with it. Audio is not much different than Impact Wrestling. They didn't really do the audio very well. Now, mind you, the people were loud as hell by the time the match was over, which was great, but then you hear them clipping. So they need better audio equipment to be able to compensate when they get so loud, they clip. Lighting was a major issue for me. They did not have good lighting when it came outside the ring. Inside the ring was fine, and I understand they're in a small arena. But being in a small arena does not mean you shouldn't focus on lighting. You need to make sure that people at home could see it. And then the final thing, that was the most important thing, other than the camera work, which was generally alright, it wasn't like total trash, it was actually pretty good. Commentary. Gilmore was fine. The other two I don't recognize. The woman, she sounded okay-ish. The other guy, he sounded alright too. I don't know if he's a former wrestler or not. I would have to watch the product to know who they are. But Gilmore, he was alright. So I would tell you, if you didn't watch it, take a look at it. It's not that bad. And Zilla Fatu, seeing that tattoo of Umaga on the chest, I'm definitely sure it's got to be one of his kids. It's got to be one of his sons. I do still believe that Umaga had like 2 sons, I believe. I'm not sure. I think he had 3 kids. One of them was a girl and the other were 2 boys, I think. I just don't remember. It has been, 20 years, nearly 20 years since Umaga passed away, which was so sad. Nearly 20 years. So it hurts to know the guy had such potential and he passed away. I just hope, if that is one of his sons, that he does well. Peace.